All right, everybody. How we doing? How we doing? What is going on? What is going on, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, y'all doing okay? So, today we're not just reacting to 1136. We're doing a little bit more than that. I don't like how my hair's looking on the side here. I forgot what it is like to try and manage shorter hair, because it actually is a pain too. The long hair was it was rough, but it was at least in a state where it's just long, so it kind of just does what it's gonna do. You know what I mean? Like it just flops. This short hair, actually, shit. I don't know if I like this. Yeah, it does things. It sticks out. It does things. All right. Oof says the haircut was the right decision. Thank you, but yeah, I just forgot. You know, one of the reasons I thought that, like, actually, one of the reasons I went for long hair for so long, I pursued it, was because, how do I say this? I just thought, like, I forgot having shorter hair for a long period of time. Like, I got so sick of, like, all the curls and hair sticking out and everything. I was like, if my hair gets really long, then it'll all just be like, then I'll just be like, I'll just be able to move it around however, and that makes it easy. I was incorrect about that. Yeah, I was very incorrect about that. If you don't cry, you're a fake fan. Says, yeah, the reality I've learned, by the way, is that my hair is just not, it's just not designed to be easy to manage regardless, long or short. If you don't cry, you're a fake fan. Yeah, I didn't realize that there'd be pressure to cry for this, because I started seeing that on Twitter. There's some pressure to, you need to muster up some tears. Otherwise, people will be critical of you. I don't know if I can deal with that pressure. We'll see. People are talking about crying. TomTom says, check Twitter DM when you can. I'm sorry, I did see your Twitter DM some time back. I didn't open it, though, because I have several unread messages. Let me open it now. When I have too many unread messages, then I don't like opening any of them. Just because then it just feels overwhelming. I'm like, I need to set aside a time and date to look through these things. All right, so TomTom asked earlier, what do I think about a potential agenda piece / meme tier list? For example, Black Paint, Jika, Rat Hair Shanks, Law making up his backstory. Law made up his backstory? I've never even heard of that one. Dragon looking east, etc. I think it'd be funny for a break week. However, it would avoid including any memes / agendas that are pure power scaling, in my opinion. I think the Black Paint one falls in that category. I think a meme and agenda piece tier list would be funny. The reason I haven't even considered it is because the making the thumbnail for that is I don't even know how I would do that. TomTom, if you would like to make the tier list for that, like the template, then go nuts. Then I will use it at some point. But I don't think that's one that I'm going to take time to craft myself. So if you would really like to see me do it, if you want to make the template, then feel free to send it to me. Bib says, I miss Morj crying. Yeah, I already did it. I already cried at the start. I cried before the stream started, so we got it out of the way. So nobody get upset at me. Yeah, I'm just worried. Worried what happens if I don't cry. Here's the thing. I also considered doing... I told you guys I would react to the entire Kuma flashback, right? I don't want to do that now, though. I feel like that's too many episodes. Goomba Boomba, thanks for being a Yonko tier member for 33 months. Kuma flashback was done wonderfully in the anime. The one chapter equals one episode decision was the best thing to happen in the anime in probably a decade. Yeah, and they're willing to take breaks now, right? I gotta watch the whole thing. Law making up his backstory so people would feel bad for him is one of my favorite jokes, lol. Wait, what? What do you mean he made up his back? But we saw it. I don't get that meme. Like, the black paint is a funny meme because we've never actually technically seen how Mihawk turned to Blade Black, so the black paint it's a funny thing. I don't get the law one. Bib says, obviously won't hit as hard as we are manga readers. I cried during chapter 1098 and 1102. So I cried during the Jinny chapter and the Kuma final scene of his flashback, the running, all of that stuff. I don't know if, because I already know what happens, I don't know guaranteed am I going to cry here, Tom says, Morj, we saw the imaginary story in his head. Shit. Yeah, maybe, I guess we never technically saw it. Bubble Bass says, what the hell, more? Can you a haircut made him look 10 years younger? You know what's actually shocking? So this weekend, I did the haircut and I shaved. And I feel... Sometimes you just feel so dumb. You feel like an idiot. I was like, why did I do this to myself for so long? Why did I choose to... Why did I do this? I was like... Because, like, with the long hair, I would, you get ready to go somewhere, go out or whatever, and you look in the mirror to see the long hair, and I'm just like, it's kind of... I'd be like, it's kind of working. Oh, it's kind of good. It's kind of working. And then... This weekend, I've got the haircut, I shaved, and then I was looking, I was like, I clearly looked way worse before. I don't have to convince myself that I look presentable, I had to do a lot of convincing myself when I had the long hair. I'd be like, you know what, this is good. This is a certain style. And I'd ask my girlfriend, I'd be like... Babe, is this good? I think this looks good. You think this looks good? And she'd like try to gently be like, yeah. Maybe if you did this curl cream or this oil or something. I'd be like, I don't want to do this. So it was a lot of convincing myself, a lot of gaslighting myself that I was like, this works. And then look at myself in the mirror. I just look like a younger person. I think I don't have to trick myself into believing that that I should feel okay about my looks, I don't have to gaslight myself into believing that I'm good to go outside. Federico Barr, what is this? I'm sorry, oh my god, I don't even know what is this? I can't read your full name for some reason. Federico Barros the full name's not showing up. Hey, Morjiru! Oda said that Shiki was a character that he was planning to use as a villain before giving it up for the movie. Now that we get a very Wano look for him, could we assume that the idea of Kaido stepped up as a replacement? If not, who do you think covered for Shiki? Oh, that's an interesting concept. I never would have thought that Shiki might have replaced, or like Kaido might have replaced Shiki or something like that. So the thing that I'll always point out is this here. So we saw, look at this. I think it's chapter 965. Yeah, so we saw this. What is it? Where is it? We get to, the Kurozumi plot. Okay. So, this shit. Look. We saw... Where's this? Where is it? Okay. Yeah, okay. So the face swaps to this. Face swaps to this. I remember a lot of people said that this was was Shiki. Is this Shiki? Does this look like Shiki? Is this Shiki? Let's see. Let's look at the... That's not the latest chapter. Let's look at this shit. It doesn't look like this guy, to be exact. But maybe a younger Shiki? Yeah, right? It is supposed to be Shiki. Yeah. So the connection to Wano is there, right? It seems as though Shiki was in Wano at some point in time. The connection to Wano is definitely there. Bubble Bass says Morj girlfriend is a real one to have survived that hermit Mork look. Yeah. Yeah. To be fair, I think when we first started dating, I had um I had longer hair than this, and I'd started trying to grow it out more just to see, but it wasn't crazy. And then I kept it in check for like the first 6 to 8 months of us dating. And then I think might have been literally like, it might have been January this year or something like that, that I was just like, let me just try not doing a haircut and see what happens. Let me just try growing it out. And then I did. And that wasn't smart. Eyebrows are the same. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay, so it's Shiki. It's Shiki. I think the biggest thing is there are always going to be things in the One Piece universe that Oda just drops little. I swear he said one thing that was interesting though as well, which is that I swear it came out. It might have come out recently. Sorry, let me finish my first thought before I jump to a second one. There's always going to be things in the One Piece universe that are just hinted or dropped or something like that at points that we sometimes just never get to explore or find out. Sometimes those are elaborated on, like Hanafuda, right? We got some details about Hanafuda, this Shichibukai before Kuma or whatever, and a lot of things pointed out to a Kaido connection, and then what do you know? We got the actual details, and it turns out there is a whole connection there, right? So the speculations are correct. But then other things, Oda might just drop them here and there, and then they don't turn out to be anything. Or if they are, it's just something he didn't think out too clearly or doesn't really want to connect the dots for in any sort of official medium. The other thing is that I think it was a quote recently that I believe Oda said, something about like sometimes he just he reuses certain character designs that are similar because he doesn't want to come up with a new one. And I feel like that's been a source of confusion for some things in the past. Like the Mother Caramel orphan kids looking similar to certain characters. Like some kids from Luffy and Ace's hometown looking like some underworld brokers that we saw images of. I think that falls into that category. Zikoi, thanks a lot. A couple months ago, I went to the One Piece Symphony in Portland. It's so crazy to think of how big One Piece is now. Couldn't imagine this when I saw One Piece on 4Kids. I was also a One Piece 4Kids beginner. That's where I got my start too. So I know what you mean. Yeah, one. The old hag could have left Wano. Yeah, that's true. I just think that like if the connections feel kind of similar, then maybe that's just what Oda's going for at a certain point. Yeah, it'd be cool if we found out like Shiki was a Kurozumi or something like that. Yeah, you know what? You know what's funny? Because as far as we know, the Kurozumi have been hated for a while, right? Oh my God, what if Shiki? All right. The Kurozumi have been hated for a while, right? So this would have been 20-something years ago, right? Okay, not only the Kurozumi okay, hold on. Okay. What if Shiki's a Kurozumi? Here we go. Let's take a look. Okay. You mean to tell me this all took place 20-something years ago, like 20-something years ago? What is it? 20 what years ago? 20-something, right? You mean to tell me you're not aware of what happened to your grandfather? He committed seppuku. He was killed by the Kazukis. Okay. So the grandfather was killed. Previous shogun of the Kazuki clan did not sire any children. Okay. Who would be the next shogun? So the Kurozumi's, Orochi's grandfather poisoned everybody. Plan was working. The shogun's baby was born. The plan came to light. Okay, so it can't be the grandfather, obviously. But what if Shiki is Orochi's dad? Does that line up? Is that possible? I wonder if that's possible. Because we're missing a generation there, aren't we? Let's get the stream likes up to 50 real quick. Tornado says, why would they choose Bum Orochi over Shiki to become Shogun then? I think Shiki is the hero from the West Blue. I fucking forgot about this little, like, what is this shit? Let's see. Hero from the West Blue. Let's pull this shit up. Jesus Christ, the heights are insane at this point. Okay. Go pay your respects at the grave of the hero born in the West Blue and raised in Ringo. That's not, that's not Ryuma or anything, right? Was Ryuma born and raised in Wano? Born in the West Blue and raised in Ringo. Is that possible? Could that have been Ryuma? Is that Ryuma? Does anyone have any? It has to be Pin Ryuma, says Oof. That grave too trash to be Ryuma. I mean, maybe it's trash because it's Ryuma's grave. Oh, isn't that the house where they stored the weapons? Oh, shit. Maybe that's possible. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll find out next chapter. If I remember from the one-shot monsters, in that Ryuma was... he was like a foreigner. He was a foreigner from a distant land, basically. The thing is that place doesn't seem anything like Wano. I forget, maybe it's two separate canons or something like that. But I don't remember the details of what it's supposed to be. It's the zombie that Zoro's shadow was placed in, Jigoro. He's from the West Blue. Interesting. That's funny. Yeah, I forgot. Like, I remember the general zombies were really hyped up. The general zombies were really hyped up for a bit, and it was like, oh, this is like a big deal. And then it turned out only one was really strong, which was Ryuma. I guess Ors was a general zombie also. Does Ors count as a general zombie? I don't know. It was weird how there was one general zombie that just happened to be like way, way, way stronger than all the other general zombies. But I guess that's a testament to how strong Ryuma was in his prime, right? Because it was just Brook's shadow, wasn't it? And Brook, like, no offense to Brook, he's like, you know, solid, but like, Brook's shadow isn't exactly the most valuable shadow to put in the body of like fucking Ryuma. So the fact that Ryuma was so much stronger than all the other general zombies, despite having like a fairly average shadow in him, I think it's pretty impressive, right? All right. Let me take a quick look. How good are these other episodes? What would I have to catch up from? You know what? I'm going to do something I don't like normally doing, but I'm going to do it. All right? I'm going to go to here. Is it worth it for me to watch all of the flashback or not? Because if some of them are like really boring, I don't know if I want to watch them. And how many episodes do I have to catch up on here? Let's get the stream likes up to 50 real quick. So what I'm doing right now is I don't think this is the best way to go about doing things, but I'm checking IMDb actually. I want to check the episode ratings there. Because if it's like a bunch of like low rated episodes, I'm not going to enjoy getting through it. You guys are not going to enjoy me watching it. So let me see. How many do I have to catch up on? Okay. Here we go. Let me show you guys this. All right. So where we left off was... Okay. So I watched this. And I watched the God Valley episode. I don't believe I watched this. Didn't watch this. This is one, yeah, so it's just marked for me. So this would be, ooh, it'd be 6 episodes. It would be 6. That's a lot of episodes. I don't know if I got an enemy to watch 6 episodes here. They're all well rated though. They're all really well rated. They're all like 9s. Although it looks like everything in the anime gets rated pretty high now. But this stuff was really good, so I think that's fair. I could watch 6. Remix King, what's up? Good to see you. It's been a minute. Yeah, 9.9. Yeah, that's crazy. It's already got a lot of ratings too. Okay, I'm excited to watch this one. Yeah, what am I doing, y'all? What am I doing? Should I watch all of it? The whole thing? So people are saying 11:35, just 11:35 and 11:36. But why not the earlier ones? Because like, is the Jinny episode not that good? Here, I'll do a poll. Okay. Should I watch? Okay. How many episodes should I watch? To 11:36. 11:35 and 11:36. Then just 11:36. Far away, thanks. Watch the grave Yamato visit and Ringo be Jigoro. Yeah, people were mentioning that. It's possible. Yeah. Oh, this is tight. This is tight. Let's get the stream likes up to 50 real quick. We're not watching anything till we get the stream likes up. Dracula Mihawk says none. Let's just have discussion. That would be one way to approach it. All right, it's pretty split across the board. I mean, so it seems like a bit of a majority, a bit over, like close to 60% want me to watch more than just 11:36. I guess the compromise is just watching 11:35 and 11:36. But why? Can someone explain why are you guys cutting it off at 35? Why 35? So-and-so says it doesn't drag when you can binge it. No episode had pacing problems, in my opinion. Honestly, you know what? Let me just watch it. Let me just watch it all. King AP07 says you have time for 6. I'll just make time. I can do it. Why not? I can do it. I think as long as I'm allowed to skip little bits and pieces here and there, you guys don't get... Because I'm going to do a bit of skipping. All right, I'm going to do a bit of skipping. But I think I will get more out of the backstory if I watch the full thing. And I want to really enjoy it, you know? So let me try and do that. Yeah, I think I'll get more out of it. I want to get the most out of it, you know? This is my favorite backstory in One Piece on paper right now. And I think in general, I just really enjoy the backstories when I can binge them. So let's just try and do it right. So we're gonna start with 11:31. Okay. All right. Okay, yeah, we do that. We turn off the desktop audio. And then I'm gonna turn up the. I'm gonna fuck with the opacity. Let me fuck with opacity. There we go. All right, y'all. We ready? Jaren's Rambo, thanks for the 5. Not to be annoying, I kind of asked this, but I meant, why do you think Oda brings back Croc over other villains? Why you say he probably didn't plan to at first? Why do I think Oda brings back Croc over other villains? So for one, Oda does bring back a lot of villains. I don't think it's Croc over other villains. I think some things that are factoring in, because like Buggy obviously came back in a big way. I think the rest of the East Blue were just deemed not important enough to come back, although Arlong came back into lore relevance. And then if you look at the biggest villains, so let's just take a quick scope, right? Biggest villains of pre-time skip One Piece. You have Arlong we just discussed, right? So you have Crocodile, you got NL, you got Lucci, you got Moria, right? So those are the four. Four biggest villains of the pre-time skip storylines. And out of those four, you would probably say Crocodile was the biggest villain. Like Crocodile is the most significant arc storyline villain, if any pre-time skip One Piece storyline, right? Like once you get to post-time skip, you got obviously like Doflamingo throws his hat in the race, a lot of people's favorite villain. Kaido for some people, right? So, but out of the arc villains, like the villains that Luffy goes and like we're not counting Blackbeard or Kainu, characters that Luffy hasn't actually gotten to just yet. But out of the arc villains, like from pre-time skip, Crocodile was probably the most significant and iconic villain. Beat Luffy the most times. Built the most personal animosity. Yada yada. You might say Lucci was second, right? And then probably NL was third, or maybe you have NL second most prominent, ahead of Lucci or something. And then Moria was probably 4. I'd say Arlong might have been 4, but Arlong just can't come. Like Arlong would have no relevance today. So I'd say just looking at the scope of like what are the significant pre-time skip villains. Like Oda's been bringing them back. Like Lucci was just in this story. Lucci's in this storyline that I'm watching right now, right? Like Lucci got a rematch with Luffy and everything like that, right? Crocodile's back in an even more significant way than Lucci, probably because Crocodile's a more significant villain in the grand scheme of things. Lucci ultimately, while he gave Luffy the biggest fight pre-time skip, he was still like just working as a hired gun by the world government, right? Like a mercenary soldier, not a mercenary, but assassin. Sorry. Soldier, whereas Crocodile was the first big, large organization boss that Luffy ever fought. So Crocodile just as the biggest villain of pre-time skip, him still having a role makes sense, and I think the role that Oda found for him is one that fits perfectly in that Crocodile is good at making organizations and creating things like that and creating structure and like a plan. And that's what he gave that to Cross Guild that lacks that, because Buggy has, I guess, the charisma to have, or charisma, whatever. He has the army. Mihawk has the strength, but Mihawk's a solo player. And then Crocodile infuses the plan and structure the whole thing. I say he probably didn't plan to at first, just because Oda's talked about how the Shichibukai were later additions for the story. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Crocodile being Luffy's first big villain, first big defeat, like that wasn't necessarily part of the plan initially, but once Oda realized he's expanding the story, then Crocodile became Luffy's first big villain. And then Oda just found a way to organically keep him in the story and find a long-term storyline for him. NL, I think, is the one that a lot of people want back. I think it's just, at this point, NL probably wouldn't have any relevance. He's too weak to be relevant. So that's something to consider. And even Moria's still around. And I have an interesting theory about Moria's direction, but I'm going to save that for later. Rihanna's art, thanks for the 5. No spoilers, but this was unironically the best episode of One Piece ever produced, no exception. Also bring NL back in Elbaf, make him a holy knight for world government. So we got some NL discussion going here. Okay, I'm excited, but we're going to start with episode 1131. So let me pin this comment. Starting with episode 1131. binging all episodes from 11:31 through 11:36. All right. All right, everybody. You guys ready? Y'all ready? All right, here we go. Wait, double checking the desktop audio is not playing. Yep, okay, I guess we're good. You can see where Bonnie gets her personality. They're just friends. He's a man of the cloth. Forgot the details about this. There was a king, bad king. Please help us again. Please help us again. That's a rude thing to say on the way out. Oh, they animated this well. Oh shit. Damn, they went really hard on that. Shit. Sorry, I gotta send something in the meantime. I'm following the story. Don't worry. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot about the shit. Yeah, why did he not want to again? I don't remember the reasons. Ah. Is this an anime thing? Or did he remember this in the manga too? I wonder if Dragon was involved at God Valley. Because Dragon, he was part of the Marines at some point. He might have been a very young Marine. The fuck, this is taking forever to send. Oh. Damn, he hit that guy at the speed of light. Oh my god. Oh my god, he's using like... Fuck. These are strong moves. He's using a really broken ability on them. This doesn't feel fair. Hongshu Mimimi says, I love how they added that reference to the cover art of them fishing for salmon together. That's so cute. This guy looks like such an asshole. It's crazy. Shit. Okay. Let's get the stream likes up to 100 real quick. All right, here's what's gonna happen. Here's what I'm doing. The hell? Here's what's happening. All right, there's gonna be a slight adjustment. I'm gonna watch this episode and then the next episode. I'm gonna skip 2 episodes and then I'm gonna watch 35 and 36. So I'm gonna watch this, the Jinny episode, and then the following 2 episodes. I think I'm gonna do that. Sorry, this following episode, skip 2 episodes, and then watch 35, 36. The pacing is not poor for this. The pacing is, like, it's as good as I would like the One Piece anime pacing to be. Like, it's not perfect, but it's just like it's not like painful to watch or anything. It's totally fine. It's just that, we've read all this. I do know the general beats. I do like the animation for like just standard Egghead animation style. I've talked about that before. Mvad Zadegi, thanks for the 2. Can't believe my eyes. Morj actually looks cool. It's been a minute, huh? Thank you. Appreciate it. Why does Dragon look so fucking like slimy here? That was not a cool angle, I guess, for him. Yeah, get on board. Ooh. This is a panel straight out of the manga. Remember that. Jordan Vance is asking why the change. I think it's gonna Okay, let me watch the next episode, see how I feel about it. I think time wise it's just if I'm being fully honest, I'm fucking hungry. So it's gonna be I'm gonna be eating at 10 p.m. if I watch every episode. And that's if I don't have any sort of commentary. Hold on. One second. One second, one second. All right. This guy acting like he cares. That was kind of corny. Alright. We'll just cut to the next episode. No, never mind. Okay, so I guess I gotta look this up each time. All right, on to the next one. Here, let me clarify this. Just so people tuning in can know where we're at. Let's get stream likes up to 100 real quick. Andrew Anderson, thank you for the 10. Do you think this Zebek Admiral kill is going to be important to Dragon's backstory? I wonder if it might have been his impetus to break from the Marines. Timelines. So, like, he had the Freedom Fighters going before O'Hara. It would have been too far back. The Zebek Admiral kill was 56 years ago, something like that, right? So Dragon's not that old. He's too young. I wouldn't be surprised if God Valley though might have been a part of it. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But let's get the stream lights up to 100 real quick, because we're at a very sad part of the flashback. Kuma's ability is so nice to have. Oh shit. Yeah, fuck these guys up. Fuck them up. I still wonder if we'll ever find out which Celestial Dragon. I guess it doesn't matter. I don't think it should necessarily matter. But it would be cool if it turned out to be not cool in that sense, but it would be interesting if it turned out to be Shamrock or something. Oh shit. He just be... Damn. He likes using Ursa's Shock a lot in this flashback. God damn. Oh shit. Damn. I don't think I've seen that before in One Piece. Or I'm sure I have, but it's been a while. The title card coming really late in the episode, well after the opening. Ooh, shit. This is going to be interesting to see because the manga couldn't the drawing is very sketchy and everything at this point in the story. Okay. I was I thought that was really good. I thought that was very good. I feel like something was I thought that was good. I think they could have shown, maybe this is me being a picky. I don't know. I feel like they should have shown Jinny a bit more clearly at some point. Like I think One Piece does really well with like Kuma's expressions and everything were really well done. Um I think for this specific, like the adaptation, like the anime, I think it just felt too much like we're just hearing her voice for me, saying that she was dying, and then Kuma gets there and it's like a body on the floor and everything. I think seeing her would have been a bit more clearly would have really helped me. Um, that's maybe nitpicking. Um, Pin the episode I'm currently on in the chat. I think I have. Yeah. I think I did. Yeah, what do you guys feel about the Jinny part? She didn't want I know she didn't want to be seen, but that's the point, Tornado. Um I maybe I would have been hit harder by it if I was experiencing it for the first time in the anime, because with this, like I remember crying when I read the manga chapter. I think, and the manga chapter didn't do that much. Like, I think that only took up like half the chapter, that section of it. But it was, I think the reveals and all of that stuff was really powerful. Um, I don't know why. Maybe because I already know what's happening or whatever. I didn't find it that as powerful in the anime. Probably because I already know what's happening. I guess I was hoping for the anime to do something like a little extra juice. Like, it did do the flashbacks and everything, so that's good. Because she wants Kuma to remember how she. Yeah, no, I know. Hongshu Mimi says the pacing was too slow and those random old people killed the vibe. Yeah, maybe they did drag it a little bit. I don't know about drag it, because, like, that scene, like, in the manga was pretty quick. So, if anything, maybe extending it is good, but maybe just the way it was kind of paced out felt a little bit odd. Not odd, but I don't know. I don't think I liked it as much as I did. Yeah. King APO7 says she wants to remember the way Kuma saw her before sickness. I get it, but I'm saying, like, we, the viewer, could have seen her. I think that would have been stronger. Yeah. Can I mirror instead of upside down? I can do. Yeah. Hold on. Display. Hold on. How did I do this before? How did I even flip it? Let's transform. Okay. Flip vertical. And then I'll flip it horizontal. Hold on. This is the same either way. Let me get an example. Okay, so this is looking like this on my screen. I can't even make out what the fuck is. Okay, yeah, so I gotta. Fuck. I just need an example image. Okay. Let me turn the opacity up real quick. Fuck. Okay, so if I want to flip it. There we go. Yeah, alright. All good, should be flipped. I'm gonna change the opacity back. Just gotta be super careful with this sort of shit, you know? And I will always be careful with this because I remember there was one stream where do I gotta watch the whole? I might skip ahead. I might skip to 35 and 36. Okay, I'll watch a little bit of this. I'll watch a little bit of this. Yeah. Jinny seems like such a sorry. Bonnie seems like such a sweet kid, but she's not. Is Kuma just a Ursa's shock merchant? Did Kuma really use like his whole arsenal on the Straw Hats? He used the pad cannons, like the rapid fire pad cannons, and Ursa's shock. He just emptied the clip on them. Ooh, shit. Ooh. I know the white lead disease. You know what's interesting? So like over the course of the story, we've learned a lot of like these type of like the sapphire scale disease, the white lead disease. Like there are a lot of really big ones that have come up. Um, I would love if like ultimately Chopper's able to solve all of these things somehow. I mean, I guess Vegapunk fixed this one, but hmm. Yeah, now she's got Jinny's personality. I know she didn't do the middle finger. I saw that being talked about. This is sad. I forgot about this shit too. About Kuma becoming like the king and everything. All right. I'm going to go ahead and skip to 11:35. Uh, watching 11:35, then 11:36. All right, here we go. Let's get the swim likes up to 100 real quick. He's using gear second? I know he's not, but... Damn. This feels cool. Everywhere Luffy goes, he tames the animals. Wow, just 1 year to go. I wonder if Luffy could already beat Arlong at this age. Hmm. Yeah, Dragon's not as close with his commanders as like other groups. Like he still keeps them at a distance. I think that's something to keep in mind with the whole Jinny situation. Like at the end of the day, he is business first. It's weird that Vegapunk is a better doctor than Chopper. Yeah, Vegapunk. I mean, Vegapunk. Obviously, I like the character, but it is a character that essentially covers a lot of the specialties of all the other Straw Hats in one. Vegapunk can read the poneglyphs, which is Robin's main thing. Better engineer than Frankie by like a long shot. Um, better, probably a better doctor than Chopper, right? This seems like filler. I don't know. It's cool to see, I guess. Um, Vegapunk can also like create food on demand that's apparently very good. I'm sure it's not as good as Sanji's food, but something to consider. Hmm. Like the sunshot. That guy's got a funny design. So it's funny you guys asked me to watch this episode because I would say in the flashback this was one of my. I think the Bonnie this because this chapter mainly focuses on Bonnie. I think this was the chapter I didn't really care for in the flashback. Oh yeah, her. Damn, that's so crazy. They got such a big setup right there. Hmm. Oh. What a great intelligence agent. I'm sure the world government's very happy to have her. I don't remember Stussy from this flashback. Hmm. Hmm. Just some guy with naturally wavy hair asks, "What do you think is the purpose of Bakin's Stussy?" I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe Stussy's a tricky character to figure out, and Madame Bakin. Maybe it gives us some like lore insight or something like that when that all comes full circle. But I have no idea why Oda wrote in those characters. I really don't like Bakin and Weevil. Sometimes he just likes to have characters. That's also just a thing sometimes. It's crazy that Bonnie's only 10. Because, like, this shit is. She's the most, like, I guess, in terms of, like, intelligence and, like, independence, Oda definitely put her far ahead of where a 10-year-old would normally be. I like the passing down of hats in One Piece, obviously. This is the easiest escape ever. Oh, actually, I got fucking fooled. I forgot. I thought she was in the suitcase for some reason. She tricked me, so it was a smart escape. I think she should have waited to transform personally, but she is 10. Ah, that's sweet. This woman is Khalifa's mom. I wouldn't be surprised if that's revealed later. Why is her name Tots and Potato? That's funny. Oh shit. Oh shit. What level CP is she? CP 0? No, CP 9? CP. Is she CP 9? Or is she like CP 7 or some shit? Gear third. Damn. I like this shot. This animation's cool. Damn. Well, not on par with Luffy's. So the subtitles are a lie. But all right, on to the main event. On to the main event. I like that episode though. Here we go. Took us a little bit to get there. Took us a little bit to get there, but we're here now. All right, let me send one text real quick. All right. Finally watching. Finally watching 1136. I guess there's no point in me pinning it, right? She's CP8? Okay, that's pretty high up there. Watching. Nah, I'll put it up there. In case some people came back to the episode. All right. Or I'll say currently watching 136. You know what? Here we go. Currently watching 1136. All right. Oof says 9-year-old stronger than pre-time skip Straw Hats is insane feats for Bonnie. Yeah. I mean, like, Big Mom was stronger than, but I mean that's Big Mom, right? Yeah. Generally speaking, in One Piece, if you're really strong as a child, you're gonna be very, very strong as an adult. Bonnie's a slightly tricky case to make assumptions about, just because in her case it's due to a fruit, and the fruit is very specifically a fruit that allows her to tap into future powers and future, like it's a future, it's a fruit that's built to accelerate her abilities in all sorts of directions. So it's a little hard to say for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bonnie grows up to be like a very strong Conqueror's Haki user and everything like that. It's just she's kind of like a unique case. All right, let's watch it. Let's watch it. Here we go. All right, I'm excited. I remember this shot from the manga. Yeah. Oh shit. Why can't they meet again? Oh, because he doesn't want to reveal all that shit. Yeah. I think he should give her a letter. I guess he's been giving her letters. That's what he thought. Oh, she's eating. I'm jealous for her right now. Fucking hungry as fuck. Oh shit! We're getting Luffy versus Arlong reanimated? Oh no, I guess it's not. Okay, it's just a shot of it, but still. Oh, I would have liked this. Oh shit. It's actually extremely relevant to you, Sabo. That's actually funny. Dragon didn't even bring Sabo along to see his brother. That's funny. Wonder how Jinbe feels about that. Oh, I like this. Damn. Oh, versus Moria. Thriller Bark, if you guys remember, randomly had really good animation. So interestingly, I feel like it might actually have been better than the current animation we're getting for it right now. I'd have to compare side by side. Damn, makes this Zoro feat even more impressive. Man, I just want to see all of Marineford reanimated. There's so much of One Piece that I want to see redone, remastered, whatever, remade. That's funny. Uh, she's 10. She's not supposed to be out there. Who do you think? This is so cool. Seeing all of this again. Oh shit. Yeah, if you're Kuma, you're probably like becoming a huge fanboy at this point. Oh. Oh. Oh, I love seeing that scene through the lens of the other side. It adds so much. You're a paltry hired scientist. It's the fucking. He's responsible for your entire militia and your ancient weapons. Pretty much everything the world government has that's good. Saturn's salty because, yeah, Vegapunk's a better scientist than him. This was such a good call, requesting to do that because to guard the Strahd's ship, because he basically got to do that for 2 years instead of be a slave. And he still had to do it, obviously, but um, basically the whole time, the period of time that Kuma actually had to be a slave again, post consciousness removal, was probably like a couple weeks, which is still really bad. Obviously, really, really bad. And Celestial Dragons were terrible to him. But I'm just saying that like he got freed from that pretty quick. He basically got to do 2 years of doing whatever he wanted, which was protecting, helping out the Strats, and then had to do 2 weeks of pretty bad suffering, but not as bad as we thought. Kuma's fruit really is fucking convenient for like a million different things. Like put memories out there, like everything, memories, pain. Uh, I'm gonna stop talking for now. It just does everything. Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that episode was good. That episode was very, very good. I don't know what to say. They did a phenomenal job. They really, 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 really went hard on that. They did it so artistically. Especially when Kuma was running through the field, they nailed that moment so well. Like all the light flowing through, all of his memories. That backstory did a lot. Just the whole idea that I think it just pieced together the whole story so well. Like the whole idea that like he started off as a slave and his whole life he's been hoping and praying for this hero. And then his whole life he slowly comes into this role of just being that hero for so many other people himself. And just putting that whole picture together. That was just really, really, really good. That was really good. Yeah, the chapter was phenomenal, obviously. If I came in as a blind anime only viewer, I think that would have really, really, really gotten me. Um, it's hard to feel the exact same things as when you first read it, obviously, because when I'm watching it now, I'm more so going through basically like um, uh, seeing how they brought everything to life, like seeing how like the artistic slant for what they approached it with, but they really really elevated it. That was yeah, that was phenomenal. King APO7 says the chapter was hard in my opinion. It's complicated, different mediums. I experienced it in the chapter first, so it's like that's always going to be my core memory of it. And like there's something about just having a singular page that just covers the whole Kuma running through the phases of his life. There is something really powerful about that. Just imprints the idea like very vividly. Um, but this flashback was really really strong, obviously. Um, like the way they animated it, it elevated it in many ways for sure. Um, and it just brought, I think it tied everything together in a really really powerful way. I don't know. I think it'd be impossible for me to say which medium it's stronger in, just because like the anime obviously did a lot more. There's something to be said about like the manga just putting it in a tighter package, but manga I've experienced first, so I'm obviously gonna have a severe bias. Like I feel like if I'd experienced it in the anime first, I would have maybe been hit harder than if I did, than even if I'd experienced it in the manga first. I don't know. I have to watch the ending. I don't want to watch the ending. I don't want to watch the ending. Okay. That was really good. That was great. That was a phenomenal episode. Who's the director for this? Calypso is from Odin to Kuma to Loki. Oda's been cooking with the backstories. Odin's a mixed bag for me. I think the Odin backstory is a mixed bag. I think it tried to do two very. It's a mixed bag. I've got a lot of thoughts on the Odin backstory. I think it's strong for something. I think it's strong for certain moments and for lore information. And I think the boiling chapter was good, but I viewed it as a very uneven backstory that didn't really emotionally pull me away like I think a lot of other backstories do, and I think it skipped a lot of just moved through too fast. Loki's backstory is off to a great start, and the Kuma backstory is probably still my favorite backstory in One Piece. Koyama. What else did Koyama do? Says Addy Tunes. Yeah, I'm curious about that. Is that somebody who's been animating a lot of One Piece episodes? Tornado says, I'm sorry for all the people who have trouble. Yeah. I think just getting the full flashback of the character is really, really powerful. Like the full run through of who he was from birth to adulthood. I think it's good. I went back and watched bits and pieces of the flashback. Because I think I watched everything that was important. Because I watched the first 2 episodes. I watched the first 4 episodes of the flashback. So I watched the first 4, and you'll notice that the 2 episodes that I skipped, I think I made the right decision, because the 2 episodes that I skipped were also the 2 episodes that aren't featured in the, like, you know, when we're having the whole montage sequence of running through Kuma's life, right? Like the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes or so of this episode, I think it didn't have anything from the 2 episodes that I skipped. So I think that was okay. Theo A says the scabbards were the weakest part of the Odin backstory for me. Yeah, and that was a part that I thought was really, really bad to rush and skip on. They literally, like, a lot of them literally got one panel establishing how they met Odin. I think that's a really bad part for them to skip on for the flashback, because that's essentially like, that's the part that'd be like if, like, the scabbards are the characters that we're experiencing in the modern day story. So we need to feel what they feel a lot, which happens by focusing in on them in the flashback as well as Odin. Like, Odin's the figure that we lost, right? He's the hero look, the Bellamere, the Saul. Well, it's not the Saul or whatever. Like, he's the characters that we lost, essentially, right? So to feel for the characters that we're experiencing in the present day, right? Like Nami, Robin, Law, you need to focus on them in the flashback as well. That was a big, big flaw of the Odin flashback, in my opinion, because, like, it showed Odin plenty, but when we cut back to the present, it didn't do that much more for making, like, the scabbards we'd been watching crying and screaming about Odin for so long, and then we didn't get them at all in the flashback. So then we cut back to them in the present. I'm not that much more emotionally moved by the scabbards, and they still just feel like just a group of characters, like a big bunch of characters, because we spend a panel establishing how much Odin meant to each of them initially. You know, like, it's literally like Odin ran into Raizo on the streets or something, and that's just like a panel among like a whole bunch of other shit happening in the flashback. So that's one big part of the Odin flashback, but I don't want to get all over that. Anyway, yeah, Jinny's story. So funnily enough, this episode did more for me, moving me emotionally, than Jinny's actual episode did. So I think that was, yeah, I think getting the full run back through them meeting as children and her as a child, them developing their relationship, and then kind of showcasing the loss. I think that was good. Yeah. Oh, they did the last Garp episode? Honesty Impact? Yeah. So this is like another one. This is what, to me, feels like added to the roster of, like, One Piece's, like, phenomenal anime, animators, right? So Koyama, Ishitani, Chanzard, those are the really great ones that I know off the top. Koyama, Ishitani, Chanzard. I'm sure there's others that I'm missing, but, like, those are the ones that are, like, definitely, like, for me now, I recognize and I can immediately associate an episode or a scene with them. Prophet Glutton says this episode is now the highest rated One Piece episode of all time. I think that's totally fair. IMDb ratings tend to be highest when something first comes out, because people are riding the hype wave. So, you know, maybe over time it'll drop from the 9.9 rating or something like that. But at the moment, it obviously deserves to be the top spot. I'm not trying to say that it shouldn't be the highest rated episode. I'm just saying that, like, things usually start off at the highest rating that they're going to get, and then drop potentially over time, but some just stay at the rating that they're at. So I'm saying, like, don't just assume it'll be the highest forever, but I don't know why I'm even clarifying that. It's just a random nitpick, I guess I'm saying. Chanzard is an animator. Okay. So we're getting some. Chanzard is an animator. Ishitani and Koyama are directors, so very different. Akihiro Ota also did some incredible animated scenes. Okay. Midoriya says, I'll always take a top-tier director with average animators over an average director with a stack of top-tier animators. I could definitely agree with that. Because ultimately it's like the vision is what matters the most, right? There's a lot that they did in terms of imagery here, in terms of how everything flowed. What they did with Jinny's hand was very good. The way we cycled through images. I have some thoughts. I'm not gonna. I think they went for like a really really artistic sequence. Yeah, they went for a really artistic sequence, and I think they nailed the key important emotions. Yeah, I think it's just a really really beautiful sequence that we got to go through. A lot of really strong visual symbolism off that. You know, one reason, this is actually silly. One reason that I probably felt harder emotions in the manga than the anime, it's not silly, but like in the manga, when I'm reading the chapter, and pretty much everyone's impression when reading the chapter is that like Kuma's mind is being erased forever. So like that's why it hit really, really hard in the manga. But now we've progressed so far in the manga, and now it's like this gray area, which is like, is he gonna get his mind back or not? Was this actually like a permanent situation, or was it just like a temporary sort of like go to sleep sort of thing? Um, so because that's kind of become the case, so now when I'm experiencing this in the anime for the first time, I can't just give in to the implications of the scene as much, which is like the erasure, because now I know that that's like that's the tricky thing. I wish we just knew like which direction Oda's gonna go with it, because I can't like just lean into okay what the scene is telling us is happening, right? Instead, the way I'm experiencing the anime scene is more so it's just a flashback. It's just a run through of the tragedies that Kuma has experienced and a reminder of how much he's willing to sacrifice, basically. But the actual moments of like Vegapunk pulling the lever and like Kuma supposedly mind being erased and everything, I know that nothing is necessarily happening that's set in stone here. So I think that that changes the slant of it. I think that that's one of the so if I'd watched this for the first time in the anime and had no future context, I think that would be the thing that's like because I think it's stronger than the way the manga does it. It would have probably had me like really really bawling my eyes out because the manga was able to make me cry. This made me like kind of tear up and kind of get there. But if I was experiencing this for the first time and I had no knowledge that the Kuma mind erasure would turn into like a 50-50 type thing, and I was just taking it as is, then I think this anime sequence would have been like peak. Like I would have just been like a sobbing, crying mess, I think. But yeah, I think I took this in more as just like a recap, like a run through of everything that Kuma's already experienced and like what he's trying to fight for and the sacrifices that he's willing to make and just the type of person that he is. Rather than like this feels like the permanent sense of it. You know what? This felt more like a reminder of tragedies, whereas with the manga, it felt like this event in itself is a tragedy, and it's reminding us of everything that he's gone through as well. If that makes sense, because in the manga, when you're experiencing it for the first time, you don't know that things are going to become more ambiguous later on. It just feels like everything we're being told is like this is the end. So I think that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing. So with the anime, they did a really good job in that like they made the sequence so artistic that it felt more like walking back through everything that he's experienced, really. And I didn't have to fixate on like, well, how sad is the current event? Because everything that had happened so far was already really sad. So I can kind of mentally detach from, whether the current event is happening or not. I'm not having to think about that as much. All right, everybody. This was a great episode. Phenomenal episode. It's just, definitely gonna remember this director's name for sure. Impressed the fuck out of me. Just a beautiful One Piece episode. Yeah. Yeah, just a beautiful One Piece episode. I'm loving the way that Egghead Island arc is being animated. Everything they've done, really, really elevated everything. Yeah, and they did this. They knocked this out of the park. 11 out of 10. They did this as well as you could possibly imagine. Like, blew expectations out of the water, right? Like, they went above and beyond in how they conceived how to communicate the beautiful tragedy that was Kuma's life. All right, everybody. With that, we are going to call it here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This was just, such a fucking great episode. Really, really happy I watched it. I'm happy I watched the previous episodes as well, as just to have prior. I think it helped rather than just dropping into 11:36. So, like, in past streams, I watched, I think, 11:29 and 11:30, and then this stream we watched 11:31, 11:32, 11:35, and then obviously 11:36. And I think those are the key ones to me. All right, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm really